Gators Breakdown? Join Gators Breakdown Plus. Starting at $3 a month, get access to unique episodes, plus a blog, chat room, giveaways, shout-outs, and more. Gators Breakdown Plus is furthering the interaction with fans and listeners like you. Head to gatorsbreakdown.supportingcast.fm to join Gators Breakdown Plus today. Gators Breakdown, because there's never a dull moment in Gator Nation.
The Gators Breakdown podcast is ready to go. I'm your host, David Waters, and you can find me on Twitter at GatorDave_SEC. Big episode, big time episode here this week on Gators Breakdown for our main show, and right off the heels of Elite 11. 2022 quarterback commit Nick Evers is going to be here on Gators Breakdown, and his mom Monica as well. Get a unique perspective there from both sides of the recruiting world, the recruit and a parent as well. So like I said, coming off the heels of Elite 11, where Nick had an awesome showing out there in California among the nation's best quarterbacks, he put himself firmly in that conversation as well. So Gators getting a good one there. Nick Evers, and we'll have a discussion here with him and his mom on Gators Breakdown. So a really good conversation coming up there with everything in the recruiting world, from going through the pandemic in recruiting, that first official visit weekend, all the notoriety that's coming Evers' way so far. Plenty to discuss, both angles there from the recruit and a parent as well. So before we get started, remember, Gators Breakdown Plus, become a member if you can. This is as little as $3 a month. If you're watching the YouTube version, you can see all the options there. GatorsBreakdown.supportingcast.fm is where you can sign up for Gators Breakdown Plus. Gators Breakdown Plus members were able to get this interview a day early there. So that's one of the benefits you get from being a Gators Breakdown Plus member. That's just the basic tier, the general support, starting at $3 a month to support Gators Breakdown there. So you get the Discord chat room that has just been blowing up. Great conversations there every day from Gators Breakdown Plus members. So, but as I said, one more benefit, interviews like this get pre-recorded. You'll get these episodes early, about a day early before everybody else as well, but different tiers as well. You got to get involved here where we'll have Ask Me Anything sessions, Q&A sessions basically there, submit questions for Gators Breakdown guests, then total access. You and I can do a Gators Breakdown Plus episode, just you and I, get your thoughts on the Gators, how you become a Gator fan. There's an example out there of one of those about a few weeks ago that were there. You get a custom shout out on Gators Breakdown as well. So plenty to take part in Gators Breakdown Plus. I thank everybody who's signed up so far and all the support there. And if you want to find another way to support Gators Breakdown, that is one way to do so. Remember, you can find us at news4jax.com/Gators Breakdown, or your favorite podcast platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really helps us out here on Gators Breakdown. Will help more people find this Nick Evers interview and get his perspective on becoming a Gator as well. So share it everywhere, social media. If you're listening, but take a picture of you listening to Gators Breakdown, post it on social media. I'll share it. I'll retweet it. Get your name out there a little bit as well for everything that you guys do for me in listening to Gators Breakdown. All right, let's get right into it. Nick Evers, Gators 2022 quarterback commit, and his mom Monica joining us right here on Gators Breakdown. Guys, thanks for hopping on and doing this. I think Gator Nation's excited a little bit about this.
Appreciate you having me. I mean, it's definitely a good opportunity to get on an interview with you with my mom. So I'm excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Gator Nation's they've seen both of you guys on social media, and not many parents on social media. So I think they get a different side of this, and the parent side of this a little bit too. So a unique perspective here that we'll get here on Gators Breakdown.
Yeah, I never thought I would be on social media much, that's for sure. But Twitter. I used to always say I was a little bit of a Twitter illiterate, but I'm learning the ropes. I'm just kind of taking after him.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, Nick, let's get start with you right quick. Take us back in the recruiting process a bit. What was it like going through the process during the pandemic and not being able to take visits in person? You have all these virtual visits. Take us back a little bit and the difference in recruiting going back to like a year ago.
Yeah. So, my recruiting process was a little bit different from everyone else's. If you would look at me like this time last year, I probably had like 5 offers going into my junior season. And then, just like with this whole pandemic, everything was just kind of weird in general for everyone. It's not like the full capacity games and everything. So that was kind of weird. After I finished my junior season, that's really when I started to blow up and really get my name out there. And, at one point I had got like 8 offers in 1 week. So everything was super crazy and all over the place. All these coaches were trying to get a hold of me and, just like constant Zoom calls every single night. It was really just like, what I was occupied with. I'll be staying up really late, just talking to coaches and everything. But I really enjoyed like the whole recruiting process. It's not something that a lot of guys get to experience. So I was definitely pretty honored by the opportunity.
So that didn't seem to hold you back though, from making a decision to commit to Florida. What was Florida able to do, the staff able to do in that setting that sold you on becoming a Gator?
Yeah, Florida has always just been like a school that I've always been interested in ever since I was young. I think personally they're the best well-rounded school that, gave me an opportunity with as far as education and athletics, it's definitely off the charts. They got a pretty honorable academic program that could set me up for the future. That's definitely what I look for in my whole recruiting process. It's like what my whole entire family really look for. Is really just like what school can set me up for success off the field. So, I thought Florida was that right option. Of course, Coach Dan Mullen is a quarterback whisperer, quote unquote quarterback whisperer. So, getting the opportunity to work with him is hard to turn down. He turned Kyle Trask, that was a 2-3 star coming out of high school, and Dak Prescott, that was a 2-3 star coming out of high school, into NFL prospects. And that's something I obviously want to achieve. That's my ultimate goal, is to go into the NFL and play. And so that's definitely something I look forward to.
Awesome. So, Monica, visits aren't happening. You're from Texas. Nick commits to a school halfway across the country. Well, what was the discussion like as a family when Nick decided that he wanted to be a Gator? I mean, you haven't met these people face to face yet. Granted, that's coming down the road, but was there any hesitation due to the circumstances of the pandemic, virtual visits, and not having face-to-face contact yet?
I think there's a certain amount of natural trepidation in this whole evaluation process because, to your point, kids couldn't get on campuses, and there's just something that's different between the 2-dimensional and the 3-dimensional. You can see people, you can feel the energy that makes a world of difference in your decisions. When so many of these academic institutions can be so close with certain criteria that we had already set with regards to academics, strength of program, depth of roster, which you would consider with the coaching staff and their abilities. There's some natural trepidation there because being on video is different than being in person. So as a family, we actually had a process that we kind of put together. We knew that this was going to be quite a whirlwind of opportunity coming at him with the recruiting process. So we had he had to pick his critical to success factors on what are some things he would absolutely not concede on in the evaluation of these schools. And together with his father, me and him, we kind of put together, we even weighted the criteria. So as we went through all of these virtual tours, talked with the coaches, because there's really no standardized process on the virtual piece of it, we could kind of go back to that chart and figure out where everybody kind of lines up. And Florida came out on top. all the time. So it was nice to be able to get on campus and see everybody in person and really solidify his decision.
Yeah, we'll get into that visit weekend. That was about a month ago in just a few minutes. But so what was it like after committing? Were people around Texas, around your neighborhood, around your city? Oh, you're going to Florida. Why not A&M? Why not the Longhorns? What was the decision like in the community around you after you committed to Florida?
Yeah, so I'd definitely say my inner circle was super, excited for me that I got that opportunity. Everyone was super supportive of my decision, whether or not I was staying in the States. I think everyone's just excited because they saw the constant hard work that I put in and everything like that. So me getting a chance like that to go represent my hometown at a stage like Florida is definitely like, a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I think everyone was really excited for me. And I would say I made a few more friends once I committed. So, that's all cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's where I'm going next with that one. So you commit and you've been interacting with Gator Nation ever since, especially on social media. Both of you are very active on Twitter, social media, and it looks like the relationship with Gator Nation is off to a strong start. Nick, with you, other commits and recruits, Monica, you out there showing support for Nick and embracing Gator Nation and him being a Gator commit. What's the social media world been out there for you guys?
So I'll start off. I mean, Gator Nation's always been really good to me ever since I committed. Definitely super supportive of everything that I've done and really just been like behind my back with this whole recruiting process, with these other guys, because I've been, trying to build a super team, you could say, down at the swamp, because I'm trying to build something special down there. And everyone's just been super supportive. I could definitely tell like their love and support. When I went off to Elite 11, everyone was rooting for me. And so, that's just like an extra boost when I have a bunch of people, like a huge fan base behind me, going into something that big, like the Elite 11. So, just like the whole Gator Nation has been really great to us, me and my family. So, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Monica, what's it been like for you on social media, interacting with Gator Nation ever since Nick committed?
I tell you, that's one thing that I've been extremely impressed with is just how deep Gator Nation rolls. I'm from a military background, and we were all family in Fort Hood, in Killeen and Temple area. It's a bunch of military. Whether you were a non-commissioned officer, you were in the officer ranks, everybody supported each other, and we may talk about each other, but we don't let anybody come into that circle. And so what I felt with the social media presence is, Gator Nation seems to go really hard and roll deep for its fellow Gators. So, and that's been very, very assuring to me as a parent, knowing that he's going into an environment that I think, may call him out on some mistakes here and there, but, there's nobody else that can talk about him. It's family. So I felt great about it. I'm liking what I see.
Awesome. You I think you described Gator Nation perfectly there on social media, by the way. So it is, nobody can come in and talk about the Gators, but behind the scenes, we all have a little bit of fun jabbing at each other a little bit too. So like you said, a big family. So Nick, I'll go back to you right quick. Was there a moment when the push really from Florida really came? Many point to a change at quarterback coach. What happened between Brian Johnson and now Garrett McGee's in for the quarterback coach job? Was there more before that point, or was that kind of a turning point for you in the communication for Florida?
So I mean, before the coaching change to Coach McGee, I had little contact with the previous coach. They definitely weren't recruiting me as hard as Coach McGee was when he got there. Coach McGee, ever since he got there, he was a real big fan of me and my game. And, he definitely made that known to me, constant calls and text messages telling how bad he wanted me. So, definitely with the coaching change, that's definitely when Florida started recruiting me harder. And, I couldn't thank Coach McGee enough because, he definitely was – just like showing me off to the whole staff pretty much. And that's really when everything started to pick up, is when Florida started to get after me and, like I said before, Coach McGee really just gave me that opportunity. So.
All right, so he is new on the staff. What's he like, Nick and Monica? The question for both of you, like, well, what's communication been like with him, and maybe even the football side of it? What football tidbits, just in the little time you've been with him, that he shared with you, and maybe stuff you can work on up to your time coming to Florida?
Yeah, so just on a personal level, he's definitely like a very personal guy. He's definitely a family first type of guy. He cares for people and has a love for people. And he takes relationships very seriously. And that's like the first thing he wants to do is, build a relationship with you on a personal level. He's not just straight football, So, you like to see that out of a coach, a guy that really cares for you and loves for you. Because, with me and a few of these other guys, I'll be going far away from home. And, it's really just like making sure my mama knows that I'm going to a spot where, the coaches love me and would do the best thing for me. So, that's definitely pretty good with Coach McGee. Sorry. And then just like athletically, I mean, the coach he's really good on a coaching standpoint, because, just like the way he teaches, it's almost like hard not to learn with him, I feel like. So, just getting the best of both worlds right there is really pretty cool. So.
Michael, with you and McGee, was there I mean, we'll get into the visit coming up, the official visit that the guys took place about a month ago. But I mean, just specifically Coach McGee and the contact that's been with him ever since he took over at Florida, and the kind of ramping up the communication with Nick and the whole family.
Yeah, I think McGee, and you were kind of touching on it later on to Nick's response with how we're going to essentially hand him over to a whole different set of adults, helping him to grow into the young man that he's already becoming. McGee, I look at him as his nice parenting style. And I think you have to have that as these young men transition into these positions at the level that they're having. And McGee's been very engaging through this entire process. To both parents and Nick, asking him how, from a psychological level, how are you feeling with everything? Are you good on the recruiting piece of it? Is it overwhelming? How are you feeling about going into Elite 11? Which was a lot of stress on his shoulders. So, McGee's got a great style. He's really engaging. He's authentic. And obviously, I think that's what Nick's really responded well to. And because Nick's responded well to that, his father and I have too.
Awesome. So, Monica, I'll stay with you. Nick commits. His name gets out there even more when camp season comes rolling around. And how's the journey been so far with all the notoriety and all the popularity and everything rising from the time he committed, having success in camps? And just thought, really, taking off really in the camp circuit since he committed to Florida. The eyeballs are on him now when he committed to Florida. Really great showings in camp and just kind of all blossomed all at the same time.
I'm still processing it, to be honest. I'm still processing all of this. It's a different space. And, in the court of public opinion, things can be great. And there's things that come with that. So, it's been a little intimidating from a parent's perspective to know that your kids out there is in the limelight. It's only growing. And now with the NIL thing that's going on, it's only going to get even more expansive and vast and present different opportunities and challenges to manage. So yeah, as a parent, it's been pretty, like I said, I'm still getting used to it. I'm still trying to get my arms around it. I'm really happy for him. I'm excited for him. His father and I have always talked about how we just want him to get his time in the sunshine and the light, and he's doing that, and he's executing well, and that's all we've ever hoped for him. Now it's incumbent upon us and the people that we're entrusting him to be with to help him get through the next phases of this, and we're just kind of going with the flow right now and taking it one step at a time. I think that's the only way to manage it, to be honest.
Nick, what about you? You got guys like me requesting interviews for you all the time, all these camps, blowing up on social media. What's the ride been like since you committed to Florida and all the notoriety going up there?
Yeah, I mean, the ride's been crazy. Like I said before, my recruiting process this time last year was nothing like it is now. So just getting this opportunity to showcase what I can do is definitely a great opportunity. It's definitely a humbling experience because not a lot of kids across the nation, across the world, get to experience this. I'm just really just taking it all in. It gets overwhelming at times with the amount of people that are trying to get a hold of you. But just like my thought process behind all this is, just not a lot of people get to experience this. So, one thing I learned at the Lead 11 is, with all these interviews, have the most fun in the history of fun. So, having that positive mindset going into all these interviews and showcases and all that stuff is really just like, have fun because, like I said before, not a lot of people get to experience this. So, just having that mentality has really kept me upbeat with everything. So, it's definitely a blessing with the opportunities I've been given. So I'm blessed.
Even waking up early and doing interviews like this with me. So I thank you enough for doing that. Dead period's over. It's finally over. You guys, and as soon as it's over, you guys make the trip to Gainesville for the first official visit. How was it finally seeing the staff in person for the first time and interacting with them and all the other recruits that were there in town as well?
Yeah, it was definitely really cool. Just finally getting to see these coaches that you've been talking for almost a year on Zoom with was pretty cool. Getting to see Coach McGee and Coach Mullen and really all their staff in person is like it was like good because you could build like a different relationship almost. There's something about being there face to face. Getting to actually see them in person is definitely different than watching them through a computer. And then, just seeing all the recruits too, I've always been recruiting, as you can probably see on social media. So finally getting to see those people up in person is definitely a pretty cool opportunity too. But everyone there was just having a good time, like my mom's article said, there was like a whole big family reunion, and that's really what it was. Everyone just seemed to click with each other, and it's like everyone felt like they knew each other for like a year or like their whole life, really. And just like on the relationship standpoint, it was just like a really cool opportunity. Everyone just kind of clicked. And then, as far as an experience, it's just something, like I said before, not a lot of people get to experience. I got to see some new things that you wouldn't typically see on a Zoom call. So, just that whole experience was definitely pretty cool.
Monica, other recruits are on campus at the time and their families as well. So what's it like as a parent on these trips and these official visits with all the other recruits' parents there as well? Is there talk from the parent side of helping build something special as well?
Yeah, I think the parents were all in the same mindset that we all were early on in the process, especially for the ones who haven't committed yet. They're getting their foot on campus, they're getting a chance to, they've seen the coaches through the computer. Now they want to talk to them live and get a feel for everything. I think all parents are naturally really cautious. The one thing I can say about this entire group was everything just felt natural. I think if Florida could get any one of the recruits, I don't think we could go wrong, because the families that they come from, that they originate from, are just really good people. I had a lot of fun with them. There's not many groups that can come together and do karaoke. There's usually some really awkward moments, but they all rolled with it, and it was great. We all talked about our feelings around how these recruits are in the limelight. I've had a few parents ask me if I had any concerns about, the gravity of Nick's position and where he's going, and did I feel comfortable with him being at Florida in that position, considering that it's just a high profile, very stressful position. Did I feel, what made me feel comfortable about essentially encouraging him to go to Florida? And so I had that from a number of parents, and I think that's all at the forefront of their mind. Is they're all concerned about the transition of their children to the next program. It's not always about just playing in the NFL. That's great. That's icing on the cake. But I think all the people that are being recruited, that visited Florida, are all very well aware of the statistics and know that it's about preparing them for life after football. So that's all where our discussions mostly went, is what do we think about the program from that perspective? For the other, 99% that don't get to go on to the NFL, and an even fewer percentage that get to play beyond 2 years. So the parents were great. And that's really where our mindsets were when we were on campus. And that's really the questions that I was addressing as a committed recruits parent on why Florida.
Awesome. So I think the most important question a lot of people want to know, how was the food? The food's always a hot topic on those official visits. So I know you're from Texas. You get that Texas barbecue and stuff. It might be a little different there in Gainesville.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I think I'll definitely get my eat on once I actually enroll down in Gainesville. So, it's good to know that we got some good food down there. So I'll be stuffing my face every single day.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
So visits happen, and then spring camps. You wonderful performance there, Nick. All spring. You get invited to the Elite 11. That was this past weekend. You showed out with among the nation's best quarterbacks. What was it like competing in that atmosphere with all those big names around you and your name there as well, there in California?
Yeah, so I think going into the whole Elite 11 experience, I was an underdog. So going in with that mentality, that I wanted to prove everyone that I can compete with the best quarterbacks in the nation is definitely like something I had in mind. But also what I learned from day one is this is really all just about connections. It's not about just like competing and having that stressful tension or anything like that. Going into this is really just like building connections with some of these top guys, because you never know where some of these guys will end up in the next 5-10 years, whether it's NFL or whether it's being a successful businessman. You never know. So really just like building connections was definitely pretty cool. Getting that opportunity to talk with guys like Quinn Ewers and Cade Klubnik. I've always kind of known those guys because they're from Texas, and I've been playing with them for a little bit. So I had a relationship going into that. But as far as just like the actual football standpoint, it's definitely pretty cool that I could show everyone my capabilities, and like I said before, keep showing everyone I can compete with the top quarterbacks in the nation, and that I'm right there with them. So getting the opportunity was definitely pretty cool.
You probably don't get it much. I mean, you did kind of mention that you didn't. It took you a while to get all the offers that you got for college. You just kind of mentioned the underdog role there, going into the Elite 11. Is that something that weighs on your shoulders a little bit? Is that underdog role and kind of the fast rise that has come from you in these last few months?
I wouldn't say it weighs on my shoulder, honestly. It honestly puts a chip on my shoulder, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. It really just kind of showed off the hard work that I could do, that I did, sorry. And it's really just like showing everyone that, that was in my situation before, not really getting looked at, that, anything's really possible. If you're dedicated and you put the hard work in, you can achieve anything. So, I was really just kind of, representing all the other underdogs out there, showing that, we could be like the best quarterback in the nation too. So, to answer your question, I personally don't think it's weighing on my shoulders at all. It definitely, I feel like I can relate to a bunch of talented quarterbacks out there. So, it's just like, it's definitely puts a chip on my shoulder, just representing for me and them out there.
Awesome. Monica, our initial conversation for this interview took place as you guys were getting ready to head to the Elite 11. You were excited to get on the road and get there to see Nick compete. What does an event like that bring from your perspective compared to just a normal football game on a Friday night? That has to be somewhat different, as the spotlight is purely on quarterbacks at an event like this and under such a microscope. How was the experience for you out there?
I look at it as, honestly, every time Nick's on the field, I I get nervous just because, as parents, we want their kids to do really well. We want them to exceed expectations on a number of different levels. And so considering that this is a program that as a family we watched historically over the years on television and marveled at the talent of the quarterbacks that have been invited to it, it was a little surreal to see my own son out there, to be honest. And there's a competitive part of me that wanted to see him just completely blow the competition away. There's a realistic part of me that understood the factors that go into how these quarterbacks are evaluated, and not to mention just to know that every single one of these kids, and I know some of them have been dragged through the media, every single one of these kids are really good. And so there's really small margins of evaluation and differences in each one of these candidates. So it was surreal. It was also kind of heavy for me as a mother, because I wanted him to do, just like I look at him for every single game, I wanted him to exceed all expectations. And I'm happy to say that he's always been clutch. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He's always been clutch. He exceeded expectations. He came and did exactly what he was supposed to come there and do. And that's just to show exactly the talent that Florida has in their arsenal. And not to mention exactly where his ceiling is, which is extremely high. He's just getting started. And so with that, I walked away as a parent feeling more than satisfied with how he produced out there, and definitely felt great about the relationships that he built along the way with the coaches and the other players.
Nick, you got noticed a little bit more with that pass in the end zone there in the clutch in the corner of the end zone. So, Monica, thank you for sharing that. Nick, thank you for throwing it, because it got pretty popular there this past weekend.
Yes, sir.
I got to tell you, he did that twice.
Oh, there we go.
That's the last one you saw. The one before that, he threw it in there again. So he had to execute twice on that drive. 60 yards, 40 seconds, had a touchdown pass. Things didn't go the way for the receiver, which was just an anomaly because he's a great receiver. And then he had to do it again. And that was so you only saw a snippet of it. And then, of course, he always gets brought into these situations where he has to execute and be clutch and can't get all his emotions. So I wish I could show it all, to be honest.
Yeah, game winner there. That was awesome to see. Nick, kind of expanding on that, describe your game for Gator fans out there, man. What kind of player are you? What type of quarterback are you? What do you do well? Where do you want to see yourself improve?
So, I would consider myself a pass-first guy. I feel like I can make any pass on the field, really. I'm an extremely accurate quarterback due to my situation, naturally. Not to diss my school or anything, we're not typically known to have all the great 4 or 5-star receivers or anything like that. So it's really just taught me to be accurate with everything. It's just, sadly how it is. But, it's definitely the situation that I was in, it's definitely going to help me in the future. So I'm happy that I am where I'm at. But, as far as like throwing the ball, I feel like I can make every throw on the field. But, also I can make plays on my feet. I'm not a slow quarterback. I'm actually, I would say, pretty athletic. So, just making people miss and, getting that first down on like a 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, I consider myself a strong runner, can break off a few tackles. But yeah, so I'm definitely a pass first guy that can make plays on my feet. And as far as like something that I want to work on my entire game. I feel like every quarterback, even Tom Brady, can learn, learn something new, get better at something. We're never not improving. So, as far as that, I just want to improve my whole game. Whether it's throwing, whether it's running, whether it's watching film, watching defenses, learning how defenses move. I just want to learn all of that stuff. So, to answer that question, just my whole entire game.
Monica, for Gator Nation out there, what kind of person are they getting in Nick? You're, of course, around him, albeit in every facet. As a parent, as a fan in the stands, what kind of person is Gator Nation getting in Nick?
Well, I mean, I know just they're getting someone who's diligent and someone who's pretty discerning and on the field and off the field. So, Nick is passionate about football and he's passionate about his particular position in his craft within the game. And the only thing I can really show as an example with what he does with passion is this kid wanted a snake for years. And I told him, so you can't get a snake because you don't know anything about snakes. I'm not feeding a snake. No, you got to do your research. He researched this type of subject for 2 years before I let him get something like that. And that's when he was 11, 12 years old. He had been researching since he was 9. I have the binders of all the research he did, how to take care of these things, how to feed them, the pros and the cons. And finally, we conceded and got him the stupid snake, which we then sold a few years later. But anyway, you're getting someone who's diligent, someone who's serious. He's always been serious about things that he's passionate about, and puts everything into being the best he can possibly be in that particular role or that situation. So you're not getting a kid who's gone into something just haphazardly and says, I think I'm going to be a quarterback today. He's very diligent and thoughtful in all these things and all these steps and all these opportunities that he takes or chooses to go into. So you're getting someone who's diligent. You're getting someone who's very discerning in next steps and very prudent. He's a kind kid. He's authentic. He's about relationships. He's about family. And he's a strong leader, and he knows when to be really vocal. So, honestly, I think you're getting the complete package. It could be just biased mom, but you're getting the complete package. I would even say this about him if I was out on the periphery looking in. So, and he's demonstrated that through every single thing he's done since he was a young child, and up until now. So even how he communicates and expresses himself with regards to his experiences, you're just getting a well-rounded individual.
I'll have a little bit of fun right quick before we sign off here for this episode. For both of you guys, Nick, what's your hobbies? What do you like to do? Is it all football? Is it do you like to escape sometimes for away from the game? And if you do, what do you find yourself doing?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm just like a complete football jock. I definitely have hobbies.
You got to have fun.
Yeah. As much as I love the game, I love the relationships that I build out of it. Like my mom said before, I'm a relationship family guy. So, I really just like, spending time with my family, getting to spend time with them and my friends. I like doing that for them. And I also like helping the community. I'm definitely trying to get more involved than I have been in the past with, my church and just other stuff going on. In my area, definitely get involved because another teaching point that I learned from Elite 11 is the power that the quarterback position holds. So that really just motivated me to get out in the community and, branch out with them because the community did so much for me. So I just want to get back to them. But when I do get away from the game, it's really just spending time with my friends and family. And like I said before, give it back to the community.
Mark, he's going into his senior season. You got about another year left with him before he makes that trek to Gainesville. What's kind of the next year? How do you forecast or see the next year before he has to leave and go to Gainesville?
Well, he even hastened the process. He's going in spring, so he's going to be early enrollee. So, I got to get my mind right for that. It's kind of an emotional process because I'm sitting here thinking like, you've already accelerated this. I was already going to have a hard time with a year with you. Now you've just accelerated the process and I got to get my mind around him going off right after Christmas. So, he's got it. His father and I have always poured into him to where we knew he would be good and fully resourceful as he stretches his legs and goes into this new part of his life. And I'm excited about it as a mom. I wish I could wrap him up in bubble wrap and the rest of his life and keep him here. But honestly, his father and I have always talked about how we need to pour into the kids so they're resourceful enough to where when they stretch their legs, they feel confident in doing so. And we feel confident as parents that we've prepared them as such. So I'm sentimental, but I'm realistic about it. And honestly, I'm just relishing the excitement I have for these next phases of his life, to help temper, the quivering mom in me that wants to keep him here. So the good thing is we're just a flight away from Gainesville. I can come down there in a heartbeat, or his father can. Of course, I'll be looking for any opportunity too. He could tell me he's got sniffles. I probably would want to be there with some tea and some soup. So get my mind around it, know it's coming, excited for him, and can't wait. Can't wait to see what he's going to do.
Same here. All right, last one. Let's have a little bit of fun. Nick, let's go into the future a little bit. Dan Mullen's going to come up to you and says, all right, Nick, you get to pick the uniform combination for the game this week. What you going with? You got the what color helmet, what color jersey, what color pants you going with?
Jeez. I kind of like all the uniforms, but that's just my biased opinion. But if I had to pick one coming into a game, I think I would want to go white out. That's definitely like something that I've always wanted to do at my school is just be all white. And we have that jersey combo and helmet combo at Florida. So I definitely would want the all white icy clean.
Yeah, Gator Nation will be behind you on that one a little bit. That was a favorite when they wore it a couple years ago versus Georgia. What about you, Monica? You're part of Gator Nation too now. So as the fan in you, what color combo you going with?
Gosh, you know what? I've been hearing about him talking about the whiteout for years with every program that he's been with. But I'm a color gal, so I can't get past and not having the orange and blue in there really making an impact. So if I could pick something specifically, I think I got to stick with the orange and blue combo.
Sounds good. All right, guys, any last messages out there for Gator Nation out there as you head into summer, head into your senior season, Nick, and in Gainesville in just about 6 months?
I'd really just say thank you for everything, honestly. I don't think I would be in this position that I am right now if it wasn't for y'all. So I'm definitely really grateful for that. And, I'm going to keep on working, keep on proving my name, proving that I'm the top quarterback in the nation. So you guys can expect that from me. Even if I were to be like the number one quarterback in the nation, my mentality wouldn't change. I would consider myself a pretty hard worker, and my personality doesn't change no matter like what's been given to me or anything like that. I'm definitely going to be the humble, hardworking guy. So you guys can expect that for sure. And, I'm ready to get down to the swamp and get ready to work so we can, get something going, get something special going down there.
No pressure. Let's get another statue out there.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Monica, about you? Any final words?
I just want to say thank you to Gator Nation for embracing my son the way you have and our family. You're not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to say everything's going to be perfect all the time because it's a game, but you're not going to be disappointed. And so you will see me out there in the stands. Don't be concerned if you see me out there in the student section because that's why his father and I sit apart all the time in the games because I can tend to be a little crazy sometimes, but I probably should go somewhere where everyone's that way so I don't stand out too much. But just thank you so much for all that you've done for our family already. I know that it's a family and I'm so pleased to be a part of it.
There's nothing like it. You guys will hopefully get to see it this fall and on the visit with 90,000 fans out there doing the Gator Chomp. Monica, hopefully you'll be among there with them doing it. There's nothing else like it out there. So excited to see you guys. Nick, have you made the choice what game you're going to be at if if probably more than one, I would maybe assume. But I know you got a busy schedule this fall with your own high school games. I'm going just to assume at the Alabama game.
Of course, that's definitely a game that I think everyone's got to make time to go out to. So that's definitely a game that I'm gonna try to go out to, especially like with this whole pandemic thing coming to an end, and now that we're at full capacity. I feel like the Swamp's going to be rocking. So that's definitely an experience that I want to go to. And I'm trying to bring all the recruits over there so they can feel that energy, that the Swamp brings. So that's definitely one of the games I'm going to try to go to. But as far as any other games, I haven't really made or made time on my schedule, I guess you would say. But, I'm definitely trying to go out to as many games as possible.
Sounds good. We'll be on the lookout for you in Gainesville, especially for the Alabama game. So, Nick, Monica, thank you guys so much for hopping on here on Gators Breakdown, giving Gator Nation an inside look at the whole process and what you're going through in the recruiting process. And hopefully we can do it again in the future.
Yes, sir, for sure. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff there from the Evers family, Nick and Monica. Once again, big thanks to them for agreeing to do this and getting their story out there for all the recruiting process, everything that goes into it, and everything. We're looking forward to seeing Nick this coming up season succeeding in his senior season and then coming to Gainesville in January as an early enrollee. So good stuff there. Can't thank them enough for agreeing to do that and opening up a little bit for Gator Nation right here on Gators Breakdown. So that'll do it for this episode of Gators Breakdown. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Hopefully we can do more like that there, but good stuff there from those guys. And hopefully, as I said, we can do it again. Keep up with Nick a little bit, maybe right before he goes into Gainesville in January. So that'll do it. As I said, for this episode of Gators Breakdown, I'm David Waters. You can find me on Twitter at GatorDave_SEC. Guys and girls out there, thanks for listening to this episode of Gators Breakdown.